He says, I just want to thank you so much for coming. She says to him, like a little suspicious, Are you walking around telling every woman that you thank her for coming, or you're just coming to me? Says, I'm only coming to you because you're so beautiful. She smiled and said, I'm not beautiful anymore. She says, 1 minute in my life I was beautiful. He says to her, 1 minute in your life you were beautiful? When was that? He says, you really want to hear? She must have felt some closeness to him, without knowing. He says, you really want to hear? He says, yeah, I'm talking to you. I want to hear the story. She says, tells him the whole story. I was the daughter of the richest man in Vienna. I get married to the holiest, holy of holiest. I saw him for 1 second before the wedding. And then under the chuppah, after he gave me the ring, there was a pogrom. And never seen him since. She says, somehow my heart tells me he's still alive. She says, I'm running to every gathering where are poor people. I'm looking for him. Can't find him. And Reb Shlomo would tell the story later. He was so glad it was Friday night and it was dark. So she couldn't see how much I was crying. Sister, thank you so much for your story. Then he said to the people, to the private servants, they said, please keep your eye on this woman. She shouldn't leave. If she wants to leave, tell her I must see her before she leaves. Shabbos morning before the davening, all those great rabbis were there for Shabbos. And his father-in-law, he says to the holy rabbis, please, it's Shabbos, but I need a little court session. I need to talk to my father-in-law in front of all the rabbis. He says to his father-in-law, I have to tell you now, to reveal to you why I didn't want to live with my wife for 7 days and why I asked you to invite all the poor people. And he tells them the whole story. That he was married before and everything happened, and this was his last chance to find her. And he says, I found her yesterday. And I just want to ask you for forgiveness. I don't even dare ask you, what should I do? I have to go back to my first wife. According to Jewish law, he has to give a get to his second wife. Because when he married her, whatever it is, good faith. And I have to go back to my first wife. His father-in-law got up like a wild ox. The mamash wanted to kill him. He says, how dare you? Chutzpah, are you crazy or something? What do you think this is? You marrying my daughter in order to find your first wife? And he says, telling him, mamash, he says, you better go back to my daughter. And he says, besides, you're crazy. When you go back to this woman, you'll be a poor beggar all your life. And you go back to my daughter, you'll one day be a rich man. And the mamash threatened him and knocked him off. And he says, listen, I'm sorry. There's nothing else I can do. Listen, really open your hearts. Suddenly his father-in-law went up and kissed him so much. He says, I only wanted to test you. He says, do you know why I wanted you to be the husband of my daughter? Because I knew you're the holy of holiest. If you could leave your wife, I wouldn't trust you anymore. I'm so glad you're going back to your wife. But I ask you one favor. All the money you wanted to give to my daughter, let me adopt. Your wife never buys no more babies. Let me give all the money I wanted to give to my daughter, let me give it to her. Give the heart, right? Now listen to this. Unbelievable story.
What did he do?
Wait. No, if she was even a little bit his soulmate, she was the highest woman in the world, believe me. How can you tell him, don't go back to this poor woman who's looking for a husband for 5 years in every corner of the world? Now listen to this. The Austrian Kaiser heard about it because it was an earth-shaking story, right? So the Austrian Kaiser sent word to the Jewish community. I would like to see this couple, they're so special. Okay, they waited a few weeks until she came back to herself, and she was again so beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful. Okay, so here the Kaiser makes a big reception for this couple, and goes without saying, the Kaiser says to them, I want you to know I'm surrounded by the most noble people of the world, because the Austrian Kaiser was the greatest Kaiser in the world. He says, I'm surrounded by the most noble people in the world, but I don't have a couple like you. I want to ask you 2 favors. First favor is, can we please be the closest friends in the world? He says, I want you to teach me every day your Torah, because obviously you Jews have some teaching which we don't have. I don't have people like this. And second, he says, I announce you chief rabbi of all the Jews in Austria. And this is a classic thing. As long as Reb Shimshon Wiener was a rabbi mamish, for those few years, the Yidden were mamish, with all the rights. It was a gewalt, right? Now listen to this. Then he looked at the wife of Reb Shimshon. He says to me, you know something? She is so beautiful. I think I would have done the same. She must have been something special. Mazel tov.
What happened to the daughter?
I'm sure she made someone very holy also, right? Hamlet, you're cute like sugar. Anybody remember that story, or nobody knew it from before? You remember it, yeah, totally. Shlomo, you knew it? It's a gewalt story, no? It's a classic story, gewalt. Yeah, Heilige Arzavur. Ask Shlomo, Arzavur is one of the greatest in the world. What? Yeah, Heilige Arzavur, yeah. Okay, Shlomo, the blessed Yidovatul and Yeshua Chaim, you should mamish know the Arzavur. There was one of the highest commentaries on the Talmud, deepest depths of the world. Okay, Roya, just for you. Okay, let me sing it once for myself with the words. Yibonei Amigdash, Yibonei Amigdash, Yitziyah Temale. 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 Visham Nashir, Visham Nashir, Shir Chodashu, uvirnanah. Visham Nashir, Shir Chodashu, You know the story when I made up this melody, or I didn't tell you? I think I did tell you. I tell you, I was playing for Nebuch soldiers who were wounded in their eyes. And this one soldier got on the table, and this just came to my head. Visham Nashir, Visham Nashir, shir chadash, Visham Nashir, shir chadash, uvirnanah na'aleh. Visham Nashir, shir chadash, uvirnanah na'aleh. Visham Nashir, shir chadash, uvirnanah Yes, you going? You going? What? Oh, brother, have me in Zidin. Pesach, how you doing? You're shining, Pesach. Your mom is shining. God be with you.
What time are we doing this thing tomorrow?
Oh, let's ask Shulchan. Where's Michael?
He left already.
He left already. So what good is it if we decide?
Well, I don't know. He may have. Did Michael say anything to you about what time tomorrow?
Want to make it 10:30?
Staying in David Montague, yeah. For me, the earliest. I've got to drive back
You drive it?
tomorrow.
No, it's ready now. On Monday we can always get together,
Tomorrow we did it today.
Shlomo, you brought the rain.
Good or bad?
Well, it's I say Moshe Baruch Hu Devar.
What?
When
When do we start saying Moshe Baruch Hu Devar?
It's the 14th, isn't it? And then
No.
that's-
The 14th of December? What day?
No, they say the 4th of December, but isn't it really 14th of Kislev?
No, and it has to do with the sun, not with the moon.
Oh, then it's the 4th of December. Okay. Something that it was the
When do you say Moshe Baruch Hu Devar?
4th of December.
When do you start saying? December 5th or something else. What happened, brother? I tell you something, I heard a Torah in Boba for Gewalt. The Gemara says, Abaya v'Masada Seder Merocha. Abaya was giving you the order in the Holy Temple, how it goes. He would say, this comes before this one. And this one comes before this one. And this comes before this one. So I heard in Boba one night, like tonight, in Boba there was sitting hundreds of Chassidim. Nobody wanted to leave. So the Boba Rebbe said this Torah. This is crazy. He said this one comes with this one. Why doesn't he say this one comes after this one comes after this one? So he said like that. That every night in the Holy Temple nobody wanted to leave. But they had to leave because the next morning is another day. So they would tell the high priest, this is only preparation for this other thing. And this is only for tomorrow, and this is only for this. He said, you think this is the highest already? But this is only preparation for something higher. So anyway, I just want to bless you and me. This should only be a preparation for even higher things. And deeper things, and more beautiful things. I tell you something, David Lul and Yeshua Chaim, with all due respect to me or to you, when I got Semikhah, it was garnished. I think it was such an exciting evening, it was such a high evening. Okay, it was a very high thing, I tell you how I got Semikhah in a stupid way, in a sweet way. I wasn't so eager on getting Semikhah because, I don't know, I wasn't into it. One day at that time I was working for the Lubavitch Satmer, not as deep as Shlomo, but after Shlomo. I was working, before, right? And one day the Rebbe calls me in, and that time I'm still a little bit, but that time the Rebbe was mamish. The Rebbe goes to fire. I'll jump off the Rockefeller Center. Not only after I'm thinking, without thinking, and after. I mean, the Rebbe says that's it. The Rebbe calls me in and says, Shlomo, whatever. He says to me, I don't want to talk to you and see until you come in with the Semikhah. I mean, I cannot afford to sit there for 2 years and not see the Rebbe, you know. It's like it's right in there. That means I have to go out and get Semikhah. Okay, I go to Reb Moshe Feinstein. Reb Moshe Feinstein says, it was about this time in the winter. He says, I tell you something, he says, I'm so busy right now, come back on Pesach. Who wants to wait till Pesach? It was before Hanukkah. I didn't want to say anything bad. I thought maybe I'd go to Rabbi Gustman. No, not Gustman, what's his name? Pekarski. What's his name? Pekarski? Okay. You should live long and happy. You know, I was learning in Lakewood, right? And he says to me, I can only give you Semikhah if you have learned at least 6 Masechtas. I looked at you know. If you have at least, the Talmud has 63 volumes. It says, if you have learned at least 6 volumes, then I can talk to you about Semikhah. It's like, you know, imagine you want to get a PhD and someone says, you must have at least be a graduate of kindergarten, you know what I mean? So I thought, chutzpah, you know? I mean, who's he think he's thinking of? I mean, who is he talking to, you know? Chutzpah. I went back to the Rebbe and I told him, not really personally, because he told me he doesn't want to talk to me. I sent a little letter and I said, I asked Reb Moshe, and he said, as only time, and Pekarski has a chutzpah to tell me, unless I know 6 Masechtas, you know? So the Rebbe says to me, I never thought that you'll ask Pekarski, you know? I mean, like, ist nicht von jeder Rebbe. He is not on the level. So the only one who was left over at that time was Rabbi Rutman. Was he's a genius, not the word, super genius, right? Gershon. Super genius. I mean, sharp like a whip, and very special. And I've met him a few times. He was also basically a friend of Lubavitch, but then some of them he was not a friend anymore. Anyway, I call him up, I want to see him, and he tells me to come to his house. It was very special, and he was like friendly and also like let you know, don't get too close. Anyway, so I'm coming to his house and I said to him, it's stupid, you might think it's maybe stupid. I don't know you that well, you don't know me that well, but I need your favor, I want to have Semikhah. And I told him the whole thing, straight. I want to be ordained by you. But he was a super genius, And I was learning by Reb Aaron. I couldn't ask Reb Aaron for Semikhah because he was angry that I left for Lubavitch. So I couldn't ask him. Anyway, so he says to me, what would you do if you would be I? What would you do in my place if someone like you comes asking for Semikhah? How would you handle it? And the truth is, I had learned Vedic Shlomo. It was not, I didn't have to. So I said to him, you know what I would do? I was sitting with him like here, and there was a whole Shas, the Talmud was there. He says, I would go over, closing my eyes, and take out one volume, and open it again without looking. And wherever the page opened, I would tell me, or the other one, come back in 3 days, let's talk about that page. He says it's a good idea. Anyway, I don't know if he didn't look, but anyway, he walked up and took out Masechta Chum, and he opened mamish on the page where the whole thing is, you're there, Tam Ke'ika, imagine you're not permitted to eat ham, or you're not permitted to eat shrimps, right? Imagine if it's not ham, but it has a taste of ham. Imagine you put some ham in chicken soup and you take the ham out. But then the chicken soup tastes from ham. It's from real ham, right? But what is left is not the ham itself, just the taste. Okay, it's very, very deep and far-reaching. Right? Anybody who knows you're there, this is like the essence. You can't move aside it, right? Okay, anyway, so I was supposed to come back in 3 days. After 2 days he gave me a ring, he says, I don't have so much time to come back in a week. It's okay. Okay, for that 1 week I was learning everything which has to do with Tamke. And I had a Torah which takes maybe 3 hours at least. Not to tell people, to tell him. So after I'm starting talking to him, so after 10 minutes, it's enough of getting a headache. It's enough. I trust you. I say, it's not fair. Here, I sit like a dog, prepare myself for a week to tell you Torah, and you don't want to even hear it, So anyway, he listened to it, which was sweet, and didn't say anything. Let's just come back in 2 weeks. It was sweet, 2 weeks later, I come back. It was really cute. He had a little wine on the table, and a little feast. Then he gave him a Semikhah, Mamash put his hands on me and blessed me. Sweet, just me and him, Maybe it was sweet. I think it was sweet.
You're talking on the level of the aspirin,
You see, I tell you something, I don't know how happy I was, who was mamish glowing. My father, he was so happy, he got smicha, So special. Anyway, mazel tov. Yeah, mamish the next day. I needed smicha on my hand, Oh, what can you do? I tell you, at that time, how close I was to the Rebbe? The Rebbe Mamish was like really his right hand man. And the Rebbe also told me, you have to get married, Mamish, I need you to be married. And at that time, I think I told some of you, someone told me about a daughter of a Satmer Chossid, And I was supposed to take her out, you don't take a girl out in Satmer, you go and talk to her. Saturday night, listen to this, was Mamish a Gewalt. So I told the Rebbe, I'm going this Saturday night. Listen to this, the Rebbe Mamish asked me for the telephone number of the girl, can you imagine? And I was there and sat by these people, and I was sitting there till about 12, and about 11:30, the Rebbe Bechvoide Ba'atzmo called me up. Can you imagine? And he wanted to know if it's shaykh or not, I think he was Mamish so eager for me to get married, he wanted to know if it, what the story was, really crazy. That girl was so beautiful and so sweet. Mamish, so sweet. I just really loved it. I would have married her the next minute. Now listen to this. In Satmer, you don't talk to a girl. The whole family is sitting there. She's sitting in the utmost corner, and the parents talk to you. And I hate to say bad things. The father was a butcher. I don't care. He's a surgeon, So he was talking to me about, he wanted to know exactly what they eat in Lubavitch verbringen. He didn't ask the Torah the Rebbe is saying, du musst steigen, essen da was verbringen. What do you eat there? So he wants to know on Pesach, Mamish was for 2 hours. Okay, I was Mamish salami talk for 2 hours. Finally, and the whole family was there. Finally, I said to him, with all due respect, it's beautiful to talk to you, but I don't remember the name. Whatever the name is, I'd like to talk to him a little bit. Anyway, so to make it very short, they brought me into a room, and I'm sure they took up the furniture from the room just because of me. Like, the room was twice as long as the room, and she was sitting on a chair there, and I'm sitting here, and when we talk to each other, I have to yell like this, And this wasn't even the end. Every 2 minutes, the mother would tell me she forgot something in the room. I
I mean, what could I do there? Finally, and the end was, I really liked her a lot. I could continue service. I could have talked to you with. You know, Lisa like the man somewhere. But she says to me, obviously you don't know my family. If my father had spies, wherever I go, he was a different being. I can't, you know, this is for real, ask some of them, Hungarian. The way they watch their daughters. It's sweet, but it's also not so sweet. Anyway, she says, listen to this. If the middleman was the Boba Bachos who lived in the same house. The end was, the Rebbe asked me, called me up, because the Rebbe, you know, she is so special, you know? She really special. That's it. A week later, I got a message from her father that he doesn't want her to marry the Lubavitch Satmer because the Lubavitch has gray hair, or wearing gray hair. And Satmer only marries people who have a black hair. You know? I mean, the way he look at people is crazy, right? Because I don't have a black hair. Crazy. I'm not sure. I don't know, you know, she was so special, you know? Mr. Salami. But anyway, you know what the craziest thing, the typical Satmar is? Lubavitch, the most important thing is the beard. It's really the holy thing. It had this green, gray, yellow, who cares? She married a Satmar, of course, he didn't have a beard. Didn't have a beard. Why would he have a beard? No? And this boy, I know it's a tremendous, you know. I'm sure this is been good machine over time, you know. But he has a black hair. The craziest thing happened, listen to this is very crazy. 5 years later, while I was there talking to her, she was going to be 17 or 18. She had a little sister who was 14. She looked exactly like her, also. Both of them, very good head job. 5 years later, I get a call. And now, maybe 10 years ago, I get a call. I said, you're not going to have me. Just remember you want to have space for my sister? And you remember he was a little girl when I was 10? It's unbelievable. Just I gotta talk to you. Okay? She said, you know something? I really broke away from my father. You can meet any time. I'm not like my sister. No? She did, you know, my sister is money. I wouldn't say she was off, but she wants to talk to me because she really didn't want to get lost. She didn't want to get lost. So the most beautiful thing is that one way or the other, you know, I was getting traveling for Lubavitch. No, I wasn't taking her Lubavitch anymore. I don't know what I did. She said, I'm ready to travel all the world and travel the Jewish place, you know? But she wasn't talking about, she wants to travel around the world, you know? Anyway, it became very expensive all the time. He was heartbroken, called me up. And then somehow, slowly, the bridge was there, you know? And she made peace with her economic father. And then Baruch Hashem, she married, not the Satmar Chosik, she married a young man who was a very close friend of mine. So how able, harmless, piece of gold, you know? He didn't have a beard, and he had a gray hair. But she didn't care, you know, her father was just my father from home stuff, you know? was really angry at her father and said, "Father made it so much trouble." Her father wanted to read, but still didn't know anything. So she just doing it with him. And this girl won prizes for her poetry, like she had letters from the biggest magazines in the world to supply them with poetry.
So deep, you know. Unbelievable. Okay, this is my connection to Satmer. Unbelievable. What? Stupid, you know. Or whatever it is. You see, I tell you, the truth is, you cannot marry a girl because she reminds you of her sister, you know. Her sister, you know, I was mamish in love, I'm telling you, would have married her the next minute. Somehow. Okay. That's what it is. You didn't even ask me, you know. You see, if you know Satmer, the way they look at people is like salami, you know, if it doesn't look good, you know. They have the salami look in you. You know, it's crazy. The law is Lubavitch Satmer, you know. You talk about the Rebbe, you ask what he said, what he was doing, his avodah. Didn't ask me anything about the avodah. You know. I mean, his chassidus is like toenail chassidus, you know, nothing. I'm sure they're sweet, you know. I'm sure they're given to Satmer Rebbe, they go in the fire, you know, but that time I was really into Lubavitch, I looked at them, chassidus. Anyway, crazy. I learned a lot from it, you know. You know why I remembered it? Because the saddest thing happened. I just met the daughter, the son of this girl who called me up already, her sister. And he just told me never that his father passed away. So I'm just planning to call out the situation. But she had 9 children, you know? Real Babostula, I'm sure, you know? Got to find out if she still writes poetry, you know? If she does. What?
If she writes different poetry.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Everybody's waiting for more wars to wisdom.
Canada, I make you my manager, there's no two ways about it. This is Susan knows you are the best manager in the world. She'll give you the job right away, right? I mean, for Canada, how far can you go? This is fact, friends, it's not the truth like that. Okay, Mazel Tov, get Shabbos, get Yom Tov. We should meet each other with great joy. Thank you so much.